Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiance Central, and I'm your host Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So I am back. Happy New Year, and I'm pleased to be back making videos again. This is my New Year's resolution because, as most people know, I haven't been around really making videos consistently for the past year. I was pregnant and I gave birth to our darling daughter, Luna Ray, October 7th, 2013 at 7 a.m. in the morning here in Bali, Indonesia. And so the past year, I haven't been making regular videos because I was pregnant and I was sick throughout my entire pregnancy. Really bad morning sickness for all 3 trimesters. And I would say the 3rd trimester was even worse than the 1st. So it was a brutal pregnancy, and then I gave birth, and then I'm taking care of my darling daughter, and well, time goes by. So I'm happy though to announce that I do want to get back into the videos. My New Year's resolution is to be doing consistent videos again and to be working on more content for RadianceCentral.com and also making new programs as well. So it's super exciting. And I thought to kick things off today, I would introduce you to Luna Ray and also share my birth story, because I know a lot of people are interested in hearing a natural, unmedicated vaginal birth story, plus also even just hearing a story of giving birth here in Bali, Indonesia, which is a little bit different than what you would maybe experience doing in another country. So Luna Ray is sleeping right now, so I will introduce her to you after. And first just share my birth story. We planned pretty much to have a natural birth, a natural unmedicated vaginal water birth. That was the plan. And we pretty much had a few options here in Bali. Our first choice was to actually do it up in Ubud, which is an hour and a half away from where we live. We live in southern Bali, and there's a birth center up in Ubud, which is central Bali, that is run by an American, Ibu Robin, and many international volunteers are there, and it's a beautiful place. They pretty much give their assistance to local Indonesian women to have natural water births, and it's all free services to local women here, and it's just a beautiful thing that they're doing, and we really wanted to support it, and we believed in what they're doing and all that. So we wanted to give birth there, but it's an hour and a half away, and we wanted to just be cautious, especially being in Indonesia. You never know what's going to happen on the way, and traffic and all that kind of stuff. Plus it's our first birth, that we decided it's better to do something that's closer to home. And what we ended up finding was a doctor that actually used to work with the birthing center there, and he's a huge advocate of water birth here in Indonesia, and big advocate of natural births. And we really liked him, and a very spiritual man, and just great. So we were really happy with our doctor, and we had 2 choices as to where we could actually be giving birth and do the labor. And the 2 choices were an international hospital that had a brand new water birth facility, 1 room with a new tub, and everything is like, I think the tub and the water birth facility was just built maybe a few months ago, or even maybe a year ago. So very new, and a good hospital, international hospital, which is a good choice, especially when you're in Indonesia, and in case we needed any kind of medical backup, things were right there. Especially I'm a foreigner here, and it's just for my own peace of mind, knowing that if I needed something or Luna Ray needed something, that there's things there or nearby. So that was important for us. So we had that choice, or there was a local Indonesian women's birthing center, which also had a water birth facility there, a huge tub and a huge room. So the tub was actually big enough to accommodate me and my husband, so my husband could be in the water with me when I'm giving birth. And also a huge room, which we can have family in there for the labor and delivery, all of that. And so that was great, but facility, not so modern. And I think the one thing that kind of threw me off with it was, in the corner of the room, there was a toilet, and there was no walls around the toilet. And I just thought it was kind of strange when we went to see the 2 facilities, and I was like, why aren't there walls? Like, there's just a curtain you can kind of throw around it, but that was about it. And so, I don't know, that kind of just tainted my view of the place. That we decided it was better just to go with more of the international hospital. Plus my parents are coming from Canada, and they probably would feel more comfortable, more secure at an international hospital as opposed to being at like more of a local birthing center. So that was the direction we were going with. And we planned a lot with the birth, especially just making sure that all things were covered, especially a medical emergency, things like that, because in Indonesia, some things are available, some things are not. And so it's just important to be aware, to be organized, and to think ahead just in case you need anything. And so, but the one thing we didn't think about was what happens if we arrive and someone else is in labor and giving birth in that room, and we need that room. Right? So we didn't think about plan B, like what happens if there's more than one person, right? So that's pretty much what ended up happening to us. As we arrived at the international hospital, and there was a woman in labor, but she was not yet giving birth, and she wasn't yet in the birthing room. So they pretty much said, you can stick around for a while and see what happens. And as your labor progresses, we can assess the situation. And either I can stay there, and instead of having a water birth, I can always just have a natural vaginal birth. Or we can go right away to Harapan Bunda, which is the Indonesian birthing center with the toilet in the corner of the room, and we can have the birth there. So, and that would definitely be a water birth there, and they're ready for us, and no one's in there right now. So those were our options. So at first we decided to stay at the international hospital and just see how things progressed, and see how the other women progressed too, because who knows, maybe my labor would go super quickly and I can use the water birth room and everything's good. But what ended up happening was my labor in the beginning did go very quickly, but so did hers. And so when I was at 5 centimeters dilated and went pretty quick to get there, the hospital was like, listen, you have to make a decision now. Do you want to stay here and do a vaginal regular birth, or do you want to go and do the water birth at Harapan Bunda? And so we decided to take an ambulance and go to the Indonesian birthing center with a toilet in the corner of the room. And so we get there, and suddenly my labor starts to stall. And my labor ended up being over 27 hours long. I stalled at 6 centimeters dilation and also at 8. And I would say that was about 20 hours out of those 27 hours that I was stuck at 6 centimeters and then at 8 centimeters. So it was brutal. My contractions the whole time were about 2 to 3 minutes apart. And it was a very long over a day experience. But once I actually started going into delivery, that's when things actually picked up and went very quickly. So I'm very happy about that even though the labor was excruciating long and painful and I was sick the entire time, delivery went quickly. And I have to first mention too that I was sick the entire labor. And the one thing that was so great about being at the Indonesian birthing center was that because there's no doors around the toilet, I can just freely go and vomit, which I needed to do almost every hour. And there was no doors, no walls, nothing between me and the toilet, that it was actually a luxury to have that toilet in the room. And I can finally now, afterwards, understand why they would do such a thing. So that was a benefit. And I would say the biggest benefit of all was having that huge tub. So my husband was able to be in the water tub with me when I was pushing our daughter out, and my parents were able to be in the room for the delivery, plus Gide's mom. So we had both families in the room while I pushed Luna Ray out. And since our doctor is quite the spiritual man, he had everyone holding hands while I was pushing, and they were all reciting Balinese Hindu mantra. And also when she came out, they sang happy birthday in English. So it was beautiful. And we had all these flowers in the pool with us and everything. It was just amazing. And the most special part of the delivery was that Luna Ray was born in her amniotic sac. My water never broke, And the bubble, the water bubble that she was born in, it never broke either. It didn't break. So when she came out, she was still in her bubble. We actually had to kind of tear her out or cut her out of it. And as my father described it, he said she looked like a packaged chicken. So that was amazing, because her transition into our world was very gentle. That when she came out, when we took her out of the amniotic sac, she didn't cry. I just took her into my arms, and we were mom and baby together, and it was just amazing. And she didn't cry for, I think, 2 or 3 hours after she was born. So very, very amazing, very, very special. And we kept her attached to the placenta. We didn't cut her umbilical cord until maybe about an hour after she was born. I didn't have an episiotomy or anything, so I was lucky with that. I did have a little bit of tearing, so I did have some stitches after the birth, but I was able to, since I had no medication and no epidural, nothing, that I was able to like get up and walk around right after the birth. It was amazing, amazing. Like, despite how painful it is, and it is painful, and how long it was, and all of that, to be able to be fully present and to be with her and walking around and just loving every moment of it. I mean, it was amazing. And I have to say, though, I was delirious by the end. I was totally delirious. Like, I didn't even know what time it was when my father told me that I gave birth at 7 o'clock on the dot. I thought it was actually 7 p.m. the day before. And he was like, no, 7 a.m. Monday, not Sunday. So that's how out of it I was. But it was amazing, and we were just so happy, and so happy too to actually end up giving birth at the local Indonesian birthing center. It was just way more comfortable for my husband's family and for my family and for everyone, and it was just great service, all of that I'd have to say, if I were to give birth again, I would do it at the birthing center over doing it at the international hospital. So that too was good, that it actually turned out to work for us really, really well. And since then, things have been amazing. I'm just so happy to have my darling daughter. She's an angel. I can't wait to introduce you. And for myself, recovery was pretty good. I do feel, since I was sick my entire pregnancy and vomiting for 9 months straight, that I'm still sort of building up my nutrition again. I feel like it really kind of wiped me out, and maybe too that I'm exclusively breastfeeding as well, that it's taken a lot from me, that I've had to really kind of get into just eating super nutritionally dense food and just build up my nutrition slowly, as well as I can, and also my strength, because pregnancy does take some of your strength away too. I found that, like, I was very fit before I got pregnant, and I exercised throughout my pregnancy. I'm proud to actually say that I was doing aerobics, step aerobics, till I was 39 weeks pregnant, and I only stopped at 39 weeks because the gym told me they didn't want me to give birth at the gym. But I was able to do that throughout my entire pregnancy, not as regularly as I did when I was not pregnant. I was only maybe doing aerobics like once or twice a week, but I was able to do it till I was 39 weeks pregnant, and I was walking more. My husband and I would go walking every day on the beach, things like that. So I was able to maintain some bit of movement and fitness, but after giving birth, I really saw how much muscle and strength I lost. So those have been two things that I've been working on, is just rebuilding my muscle, rebuilding my strength, and rebuilding my nutrition. And slowly but surely, I've been feeling more and more myself again, which is great. And running around taking care of a newborn, it does get you fit again. It does get you back moving again. And the more sleep I get, the more energy I get as well. So that's good too. So all of it super exciting, and she is healthy. She's a beautiful baby, and she was a big baby too. I have to say, when she was born, she was 3.8 kilo, which is what, like 8.5 pounds. Big baby. She's just growing, super healthy, and we're exclusively breastfeeding, and everything's just been smooth and great since she's been born. So worth it, worth all those months of morning sickness and everything. We are truly, truly blessed. So I'm going to introduce you to Luna Ray now. I'm happy to be back with RadianceCentral.com making videos again, and it's going to be a fabulous 2014. So here's Luna. And here's our cutie, Luna Ray. And Luna's about 12 and a half weeks old. I'd say a few days shy of 3 months. She's getting to be pretty big. And she's definitely my sweetheart, my big bundle of joy. And what I've done actually at RadianceCentral.com on today's blog post was put a bunch of photos together from my pregnancy and from the actual water birth. We have some photos of that as well, and of Luna Ray getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can go and check that out at RadianceCentral.com/blog and click on today's blog post to check that out. All right, everyone, so I'm wishing you all a fabulous, fabulous day, and I'm gonna see you again soon. And I'm super excited to be back, and happy 2014, happy holidays. All right, Luna, say goodbye to everyone. Bye, bye. Bye, bye.